Greetings, programs. Welcome to Hydaelyn's Heroes, the Final Fantasy XIV podcast, where whether you're a warrior of light or a warrior of darkness, all are welcome on the star we call home. We got a few topics here today, 3 to be specific. 2 of them are regarding Final Fantasy XIV. The other is regarding something else, and I know it's a 14 podcast, but you know what? It's my damn show, and if I want to talk about it, I will. It's Final Fantasy adjacent, so, whatever. Before we get into those main topics, or as we call them, our main story quests, I want to introduce the Joker to my Batman, Mr. Piers Harvey. What's up, sir?
Joker and Batman, huh? Which Joker would I be then? I want to be...
You can pick.
That's a tough one.
I know, right?
Heath Ledger, right? He's got to be the best, right?
Yeah, there you go. Joaquin Phoenix, not bad either. I
still haven't seen the Joaquin Phoenix one. It's something I've been meaning to do, but anyway, how you doing? How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right, man.
I'm doing okay.
It's been a little light on the Final Fantasy XIV front, but it's all good. We found a few things to talk about, and then something dropped yesterday that is pretty exciting to both of us. And again, it's Final Fantasy adjacent, or 14 adjacent. So we'll talk about it because it's my damn show. Mm-hmm. But first, Piers, do you remember how we want to get our topics fed to us?
Of course I do. We want to hear from you guys. We could always use some extra ideas for what to talk about on the show. Sometimes we don't have a lot of topics to talk about, so if there's anything you guys want to hear us discuss or any questions that you have, anything like that, make sure you send in your questions, comments, anything like that to tarkothgaming@gmail.com. We want to hear from you guys.
You the man, sir. You the man.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's start with main quest number 1. And that first main quest is... Oop, nope, that's the wrong button. That's the wrong button. There we go, found it. It's been some technical difficulties. Main quest number 1. The Make It Rain campaign is ending soon. Hope you guys finished with your quest. With it finishing, what are your guys' favorite seasonal events? That is a great question. Yes, Make It Rain campaign is ending on June 20th at 8 a.m. Pacific. So if you haven't gotten your quest in, gotten your fancy emotes, get those now. Try to rack up as much MGP as you can, because you get big bonuses on the MGP from anything that you get MGP on, even your weekly challenge log. So get after it if you're looking for something fancy from the MGP vendors. I myself have not finished my quest. I need to do that because I want those fancy emotes. They're shiny and glittery.
Oh yeah, they're great.
Pretty nice. I've gotten everything else that I really want from the vendor. All I'm really missing is Orchestrion rolls. So I feel like I'm in a good spot. Well, that and triple triad cards. But yeah, I feel I'm in a good spot. I got all my mounts. I got all the minions. I've got the emotes. I've got dances, hairstyles. I got all that stuff. So feeling really good with my MGP situation. I feel like we need a couple more high value mounts and minions. More minions, please. More minions. Always need more minions. But Piers, how are you doing on the Make It Rain campaign?
Usually I spend a lot more time in the Gold Saucer during the Make It Rain campaign, but for some reason this year I haven't spent as much time. I do try to make sure I at least do my mini cacpot every day and try to get most of my challenge log done. But a lot of the time in previous Make It Rain campaigns, I'll be chocobo racing all the time and making sure I'm like hitting every single gate and all that stuff. But this time around, not really anything I'm going after. I know last Make It Rain campaign I was going after the giant cactar guy still, the
Sabatender mount
one. Yeah, so I had a goal. Now it's just I'm accumulating a lot of MGP just for a rainy day, kind of like you. Orchestrion rolls are kind of all I need, and that 1 million Cloud Strife card for triple triad, which is crazy. I don't know if I'll ever spend 1 million on that, but it's been fun though. I honestly enjoy Make It Rain, I think, more than most seasonal events because it's something that will keep you occupied for the entirety of the campaign.
Yes.
Yep, where
I concur.
Old seasonal events, like for the most part, you just go in, you do a quest, and then you're done. And then you don't really worry about it for the rest of the time that the event's active. But Make It Rain is something that at least will keep you occupied for the time being. So that's why it's one of my favorites. But overall, I think that it's been fun. I think it's a great thing that they do with Make It Rain. It gets a lot of people into the Gold Saucer. So
Yeah, especially when they might ignore it for the rest of the week, other than their jumbo and maybe coming to get their daily Cactbot. They spend time in there. These couple weeks are, I think, when I see it the most populated throughout the rest of the year. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So the second part of this, though, what is your favorite seasonal event? Mine's going to be pretty sweet and simple. It's Make It Rain, because as you said before, it keeps you engaged pretty much, the entire 2 weeks, unless you're hunkered down, doing ultimates, and then you're just drained for the rest of the day. After that, it's just whatever gives a minion.
Of course.
And maybe that's an overall issue with seasonal events in general, is that, beyond the initial quest for most seasonal events, once you're done with it, you're done. There's no reason really to go back. I do like that there's some vendors, but there's nothing of consequence on those vendors that makes me want to repeat, some of those instances like we had for the Halloween event. That wasn't on Halloween. It was a cool dungeon event, but there was nothing on the vendor that I wanted to keep going back there to accrue more currency to get anything. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that when they do special event things like that little dungeon that they did for the Halloween event or stuff like that. Even I remember past Valentine's Day events where like you would pick somebody and take them into a special instance, and you guys had to like team up to go through a special obstacle course. I thought that was a lot of fun, as long as they make the rewards worthwhile, and keep people going and doing that content. But for the most part, like they're just throwing in some simple like furnishings. I mean, not even everybody has a house they can decorate. I know apartments are a lot more attainable, but you know what I mean. Like it's just kind of one of those things where I wish that they would give more of an incentive to continue doing the seasonal event.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like I'm bringing Final Fantasy 11 up every time we have one of these podcasts. But the seasonal events in 11 are so much different. At least they were back in the day. Like those were things that like you just spent the whole time doing it, because some of those rewards you would get were actually crazy good. So like actually good things you could use for your everyday stuff. Like one was like a warp staff that would like let you warp for free every 24 hours. It was crazy. Yeah.
Sweet.
So like some really cool stuff. I don't know if they could do that in 14, but like at least give us something that we can strive to do to keep us doing the seasonal event. That's all I'm asking for. But
I hear you, man. But now we want to hear from you all. Do you like the seasonal events? Do you think they could do some things better? Have you finished your Make It Rain and you're just like, tell us about even what kind of things you're aiming for on the NGP. You got a couple of days left, so drop a comment down below. Tell us what you think. And with that quest complete, let's adventure on to main quest number 2. Main quest number 2. The next live letter was announced July 1st at 4 a.m. Pacific. Are you both hyped to see what's to come? And what do you do when we have content droughts like we are in now? Yes, I am hyped for this live letter, mainly for the continuation of the main story quest. And I'm hoping to get an inkling on 2 other things. I want to see Savage. I'm hoping they, maybe tease a boss. And then I want to know what's going on with Island Sanctuary, because I love my minions. I want to know what I can do with my minions in this piece of content. Yeah, I think I'm going to be up at 4 a.m. and I'm trying to sift through the Discord, the translating Discord. Big shout out to those people that do that for the community. Yeah, because I'm really excited for this. Piers, what do you think about the live letter?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to get some pretty cool stuff from this live letter, hopefully. It should be some interesting 6.2 info. I do think they'll probably show some of the Savage, which obviously is probably the most exciting thing to come in even patch cycles.
Sure.
And Maybe we'll get a date. I don't know if we'll get a date or not, but it would be good to get a date because I know a lot of us are striving to get ultimate clears before the date comes out or before
Typically,
6.2 comes out.
yeah.
So
Typically, we don't get a date. We'll get a date. We'll get a date on the second live letter because there's usually two on each of these patch cycles, and usually the when that live letter comes out, people have already deciphered what that date is because it's typically you get a week from that live letter, you get patch notes, and then that following Tuesday is the patch. That's just there's something to be said for consistency, and they are consistent sometimes to a fault.
yeah, but no, I'm looking forward to Island Sanctuary too. I haven't been keeping up a whole lot with what it's supposed to provide, other than just little inklings of obviously being able to let your minions roam free and
Yeah,
stuff like that. But
they've been very
I don't
quiet
know.
about it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if you're going to be able to to what extent you're going to be able to customize your little island or what you're going to be able to do there. I know you can like do some, I guess, gardening and stuff on there, which is obviously pretty cool. But I'm not sure. Obviously, I'm interested. They have been hyping it up a lot. They just haven't been giving us a lot of info lately about it. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm excited for it. What else is supposed to come out in 6.2? I can't remember. Besides, obviously, new story. Um, which
Um, I don't know.
yeah.
New trial.
Oh, of course.
And
Yeah.
something,
New
and this
trial.
is going to be probably the series of trials for the rest of the expansion. So 6.2, 3, 4, and 5 will have kind of an overarching, and that's typically part of the formula.
Yeah.
So this will be something new. I'm kind of expecting it to be four fiends to kind of tie in with what's going on in the MSQ because we got the hint at Golbez and we saw the four elements. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I think the four fiends would make a lot of sense and be just thematic for what's happening, which means they would have to tie it into the main story,
Mm-hmm.
which is fine.
Yep.
It's been a while since they've tied directly the trials to the main story, so I would be interested in seeing how they do that. Or I guess it could be a side thing, right? Like
It
a
starts out and then it starts
semi
out.
side thing, right?
Yeah, it starts out connected and then splinters off. Kind of like how they did in Stormblood with the Four Lords. That
Yeah,
started off
or
connected
even
and
yeah, even the
diverged.
weapons were like I think you got to that point in the main story, and then you could go off and do the weapon stuff. It
Mm-hmm.
was like a branching thing for the main story, right? So they'll probably do the same thing there, or they could just tie it directly to the main story, which I also think would be fine because I just think it would be something really cool to do with the whole Final Fantasy IV reference and all that. So I'm interested to see what they do regardless. So do you think they'll go in order? With how we fight them in Final Fantasy IV.
I may have talked about that on another show, and yeah, I kind of hope so. That would get me really hyped for the fourth one. Fourth one's my favorite.
Of
But yeah, we're
course,
talking about Scarmiglione of Earth being the first. Why do I keep forgetting the water guy's name?
it is Cognazo.
Cognazo. Yes, so the water does little freezy ice barrier. Barbarisha of wind, and then my favorite Rubicante because he's just misunderstood.
Yeah, Rubicante's got
Just
more
misunderstood.
personality than all the other three combined. So like he'll probably be the most interesting to face, and hopefully there'll be some cool smack talk that we can do to each other during the fight or something. I don't know. I think that'd be cool. But
Well, the other part of this topic, though, is what do we like to do in these content droughts? Well, let's start with you, Piers. What do you like to do?
well, during content droughts, I mean, there's any number of things you can do. Ultimate, obviously, is one of the things. Ultimate is definitely on the odd patches where you can spend most of your time progging it. I know that's what I'm doing. It's one of the main reasons I'm not in the Gold Saucer a lot is because I'm spending most of my time in Final Fantasy doing Ultimate right now. So that's certainly something you can do during content droughts is get yourself stuck into an ultimate fight. I also do enjoy just gearing other jobs, doing my savage every week and gearing up my alternate jobs just so I can do something different during expert roulettes or alliance raids. Just having other jobs to dink around with it keeps the game fresh for me. So I always enjoy gearing up. And other than that, just getting on doing my Beast Tribe dailies, staying on top of that, doing some gold saucer stuff. That's pretty much what I like to do during content droughts. I like to keep myself busy, but and of course there is always other games to play too. So don't ever feel like you got to keep playing Final Fantasy. If you want to go play another game during a content drought, of course, it is highly advised that you do so. But what do you like to do, Tark?
And even Yoshi P says, you're not having fun if there's nothing for you. Feel free to unsubscribe for a couple months and come back when there's something that interests you. Come back, the game will be here. I myself, I'm still got my overriding goal of hitting Omni 90. So I've been working on leveling and going through the content with my alt jobs. There's just so many levels to go through. I think I still need over 300 levels to hit Omni 90. So I still have a process, but my big goal for the end of Endwalker is to be Omni 90, be ready for 7.0. Other than that, minions are a big thing for me. I love getting the minions. Everything else is kind of, side stuff for me. Not terribly important. Those levels of minions for me. I've been caught up in the ultimate buzz this time around. But I also like to play other games too. I've never unsubscribed from this game. I've been here the whole time. I know I can unsubscribe. I play this game 5 days a week at least. So I'm enjoying my time, but plenty of other games that I got shelves and shelves of games over here. So there's plenty of stuff for me to do if I ever felt bored. That's about it. Anything else you want to add, Piers?
No, I think that's about good. I am excited for what the future has to bring. I just hope that we both have enough time to clear our ultimate fight, but I think we will definitely. I think we've still got a couple.
I think you're a lot closer than me at this point.
I am. We'll see. I still hold out hope for you, man.
We'll see how my next 3-day stretch of Sunday, Monday, Tuesday goes. If we can, because I've actually seen Enrage on Nidhogg now. So nice. I'm hopeful that we get things cleaned up. We're still having issues with consistently getting to Nidhogg. That's a big bugaboo for me. I'm actually watching our percentages on raid nights. I'm like, all right, we're at 25%. Now we're 36%. This doesn't feel good. This is 30%. Not good. So hopefully, we'll get more runs at Nidhogg and get the initial towers cleaned up. And I want to see eyes. I want to see more. Let's
Once
go.
you guys get to eyes, you'll be through it in no time. Eyes is very simple. So I think awesome. You guys have got it. Definitely.
Cool. All right, but now we want to hear from you all. What do you guys do during your content drought? Are you excited for the live letter and what 6.2 brings? Drop a comment down below. Tell us what you think. And with that quest complete, let's adventure on to main quest number 3. Piers, what is main quest number 3?
Well, of course, it isn't Final Fantasy XIV related,
no.
But it is Final Fantasy. The 25th anniversary stream was yesterday, and was it everything you hoped it would be, or were you disappointed with any of the reveals or release windows? And of course, this is referring to the Final Fantasy VII 25th anniversary event that was shown yesterday. And ultimately, I was rather pleased with the event. I think I saw on YouTube somebody was like, "Ooh, grade the reveal event," and I think I gave it a B. Of course, I want to see more. It's very hard for me to, if they gave me more of Rebirth, I think I would have liked it a little bit more. But ultimately, I did really enjoy what they showed, and I wasn't expecting some of the things that they showed. So, how did you feel about the reveal event, though?
Overall, I was quite happy with it. I would give it because I was 4 for 4 on my prediction of what was going to be shown, and even to the point where I even got the order of it. I was given an A- right now. I wish we got a little bit more information on Ever Crisis because that's coming out real soon. I know there's a beta coming out, but let's just kind of go down the list here. The first thing they really showed was merchandise. Did any of the merchandise pique your interest?
I always enjoy those what were they, like play arts figurines?
Oh,
I have a few,
Kai play arts.
Of those. Yeah, they are usually pretty expensive though. So
who wants Roche?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if I'd spend money on that character particularly, or generic Shinra soldier or
Yeah,
whatever the other one was. I
maybe
mean,
one
like,
just to
yeah,
face off with Cloud or something.
they're cool, but ultimately nothing crazy. And then of course the soundtrack is cool. That's going to be nice and all that. Um, what else did they show? The alarm clock. I did like the
Dude,
alarm clock. I thought
I
that was
want
cool.
I want the alarm clock, but last I saw it was crazy money, like hundreds of dollars for that Buster Sword alarm clock. I would
Yeah,
love to have that, but I'm not spending that money on a freaking timepiece.
no, cool to look at, but I don't know if I'd buy it
That's definitely for collectors on that.
for sure.
So the first actual piece of content they showed was First Soldier. Apparently, they're in the midst of their third season. Apparently, that game is doing pretty well. A lot of people in it because they keep adding stuff. We got a new playstyle machinist. They got a new materia water, and they even got a bazooka for a new weapon. So that's pretty cool. And they're also doing a tournament. So I guess the game's doing pretty well. You're all in it, right? You've been playing it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely no. I have no idea. I didn't even know it was out in the U.S. I
You
thought it was like
didn't?
a
Oh my
Japanese.
god.
Nope, I had no
Yeah, this
idea.
came out last year, late last year, I believe.
So I'm not huge into mobile games. My cell phone is kind of due for an upgrade, so I kind of stay away from mobile games for the most part. But I mean, it looks okay. I've just never, I think we've discussed this in the past as well. I've never been really swept into the battle royale craze,
Sure.
so it's not really my thing. But from what I have seen, it looks okay. But it still does look like a mobile game, so I don't know if I could ever get into it unless it really like is something super duper fun or unique or something. But I don't know. What's your experience with it?
So I played the beta, and the targeting was kind of wonky, where it auto targeted based on what was closest to you at certain points, which is like, whoa,
Mhm.
wait, okay, what if I didn't want to target that? Uh, there, if I remember correctly, there is a way to fix your target lock, but it was I like some of the abilities, like wind launches people up in the air, like really launches them, which is kind of cool. All the different materials have more than just damage, so that was kind of nifty. But I didn't spend a lot of time on it because the controls it doesn't feel right to me to play a shooter, a battle royale. I don't have that fine control
Yeah,
with a phone,
on a phone.
unfortunately, or even on a tablet. Maybe I try it out on BlueStacks. Maybe I'll do
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that
I
could work.
think though that Genshin Impact has really shown that you could put a mobile game and put it on consoles and it
Mhm.
succeed and
Yep.
allow crossplay and stuff. Maybe you don't do crossplay with it being such a fine PvP esque type game, because then you're gonna have those console players or PC players even dominating those mobile players.
Sure.
So maybe you'd have to separate. Maybe that's why it doesn't come to console though. But yeah, I'm not big on the whole battle royale either. I know we talked about it last week. Like I'd love to see it at 14, but outside of that, I'm not big on. Yeah, it's just not my thing. But next piece of content, and I am super excited for this to show up, is Ever Crisis, kind of an episodic remake. So a different remake here, with some gotcha elements for weapons. It looks. I love the art style of the characters and everything, and the battle looks pretty sweet. I'm totally stoked for this. I'm definitely signing up for the beta once it comes out. According to Cyber Agent, who's helping develop this game, it should be here and released by the end of their fiscal year, and their fiscal year ends in September. So if we're gonna have it released at the end of September, that means the beta's got to come like in the next month or two. So I am hyped, and I want to dive in deep on that. What do you think about Ever Crisis?
Yeah, it looks really good. I am surprised. Think I from what they announced like way back when, I wasn't sure if they were going to like what story elements they all were going to incorporate, but it looks like they're doing Crisis Core and the main Final Fantasy VII. So that's really
So
cool. Um, so being able to experience Crisis Core in a different way, which I mean we'll get to in a little bit. There's another Crisis Core thing that's coming out, but I think it'll be cool to experience it in like turn-based, this traditional turn-based. I am interested to see what they do and how their monetization is. I did see
Yep.
like some of the characters had different like costumes on and all that
Yes.
stuff. So like I'm assuming that's probably going to be monetized, but
Yeah, we saw
I,
Cloud and his Advent children. We saw Tifa with like a blue sweater kind of draped over her, and then we saw Aerith, and I can only say is a Disney princess outfit. She looked actually really pretty in it.
yeah. So I think that'll be cool, and it it looks like you're just doing like going from cutscene, and then to battle. I don't know how much control you have over like exploration or anything like that. I'm not sure if that's been shown or
They
anything
haven't
like
really
that.
given much in the way of information. I know the beta is gonna bombard us with info, but they really have not given us much information. They did say that this is going to encompass pretty much the entirety of the compilation. So original FF7 before Crisis, Crisis
Oh,
Core, and Dirge of Cerberus.
yeah. Okay.
So
All
all of
right.
that stuff's going to be. It's not going to be released, all at once. I guess they're going to do episodes. Whether those are going to be paid episodes or not, that's still another thing that's in question. I kind of hope they don't. I hope they go the Opera Omnia route where they released story segments and digital levels as the game went on, and then really hone in on the gotcha elements and the monetization on the cosmetics. Yeah, you can put all the cosmetics you want in those uh, the monetization, and then you can do the weapons as far as the gotcha. So that's how I'm hoping they're leaning. But I've heard whispers that they're going to be releasing these episodes as paid content. So if they do that, it's going to have to be chunky, and some of those things that are in the monetization need to be part of that package.
Yeah,
Because if
for
I'm going
sure.
to pay for all three, that's just too much. So my big worry, and this is always how it is with Square, is monetization, monetization, monetization. They make the games good, but the way the spending is just kills it for me.
Yeah, I'm right there with you for sure.
Next big piece of content they showed off: Crisis Core Reunion. It looks like a remake of Crisis Core from the PSP, and it's going to be released happily on all the consoles. You heard right, all the consoles, not just PlayStation 4 and 5, not just Xbox, the Series X and Xbox One. They also can put it on Switch. Switch is going to get one of these Final Fantasy games. Hallelujah. They get to enjoy some of the fun. And it's also going to be on Steam. So that is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, as somebody who has only experienced Crisis Core through the PSP, and I did play it quite a bit when it first came out on PSP. It's been a game I've wanted to go back to, but it's not something I'm willing to dig up a PSP and play on again because that thing was not the best piece of hardware in the world.
True. True
But
that.
I had fun with with it for what it was, but it just some of the things got faulty really fast, like that little joystick nub. But anyway, for the most part, I'm really looking forward to it. It looks graphically, it looks obviously it doesn't look as good as the remake. It still looks a little cartoony, a little bit kind of like last gen, but that's okay. It's Crisis Core. It doesn't need to look super fancy or anything like that.
And it needs to fit
Um,
on the Switch and a PS4 and
of
last
course.
gen stuff. So
Yeah, that's what I mean, right? So like, it's okay. I mean, it does look a lot better. Like you can tell that it seems that they're bringing at least like the look of some of the remake characters into this Crisis Core remake, or whatever they're gonna call it. Because like Aerith looks like Aerith from the remake, right? So like
mm-hmm.
that's good. They're keeping consistent with that. So and I am just looking forward to being able to play it again. I never got to fully complete the game. I beat it, but I never got to like the final secret boss. So
Oh,
this will
okay.
just be an opportunity for me to go back in there and do that. And it looks like they kind of overhauled the gameplay a lot, because Crisis Core was really good, but it was a little janky. So hopefully, if they kind of overhauled some of the gameplay. It just looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really, really looking forward to it. It's not something I was expecting at all, but yeah. How about you? What do you have you ever played Crisis Core?
I played a little bit of it, like the first segment of Wutai.
Mhm.
So like when I saw Yuffie doing her little kitty punch on Zack, like, oh, that's Crisis Core.
Mhm.
So I knew what it was. I found it to be I liked it, but I also found some of the elements to be kind of jank. And it seems like this is going to be a complete, just more like a remastering than a remake. Even the graphics, they're just a couple steps up from the PSP, from what I can tell. Like you were talking about, it's still got to fit on the old gen. But I'm excited to dive back in, especially on the console or on Steam, and actually play the game. Because it's always a segment of the story for Final Fantasy VII that I feel like I've missed out. That and Dirge of Cerberus. The problem with Dirge of Cerberus is that I've heard so much horrid things about it that I just never want to play it. So that's where Ever Crisis, I'm hoping, gives me that story, feedback. So, but Crisis Core Reunion, yeah, I'm definitely buying it day one, and I'm gonna go hard on it and try to get that done and see why Zack is the best.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah. Zack is a really good character. His character arc through Crisis Core is pretty actually incredible. It gives a lot more characterization to a character that you really don't know anything about in Final Fantasy VII, the original game. So
Mhm.
it's definitely worth a playthrough if you're a fan of Final Fantasy VII, and it's definitely something that will pull in your heartstrings towards the end of it if you do know what the fate of Zack is. But do we really know what the fate of Zack is, given what's going to come?
Well,
Next topic we're talking
we
about.
we know what the fate of Zack is, but leading into the next topic, I think part of why they brought this back and brought this forward to consoles in this generation is because he's becoming a major figure in our next piece of content, which is the Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2, now officially known as Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Pretty cool name. I like it. Not much in the way of gameplay. We didn't even see many locales, but it looks pretty sweet. We're walking with Sephiroth. Where I think they showed us in the back of the truck. No, that was Ever Crisis that were in the back of the truck. So we're seeing some calm flashbacks, which is awesome. We see a little bit of Zack carrying us to Midgar, which did not happen because Zack's fate was sealed at the end of Crisis Core. Dude, I'm stoked for the second part. And one thing we didn't actually dive into with Crisis Core, to go back, that's being released this upcoming winter. Like, this is coming out of nowhere. I love it when they release something like this and the release date is not too far off.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Or would you prefer 2 year gaps?
Uh, no, I'm looking forward to it a lot. And given the release date of Remake Part 2, Rebirth, I think it's good that we'll be getting some nice meaty Final Fantasy VII content to hold us over a year until we can get to Rebirth, which is not this coming winter, but the next winter. So
I had problems
I'm
with that wording, by the way.
how do you figure?
When it said next winter,
Yeah.
I went on a little tangent. You can see that on my reaction on YouTube. I was like, next winter. Yeah, that's this upcoming one. This upcoming one is the next winter, right? That's the next winter. Like,
Right.
I forgot that there's a difference between this winter and next winter.
Yeah.
So that would
Yeah.
be that would be so Crisis Core this December till somewhere in February of next year, and then Rebirth December 2023 till February of 2024. So yes, 6 months hopefully for Crisis Core and a year and a half for Rebirth.
And we are getting Final Fantasy 16 in between those
Yes.
two too, right?
Oh
So in
my
the
God,
summer of 2023.
such a
So
crazy year and a half.
yeah, we'll be getting some nice Final Fantasy content. Not to mention the next expansion for Final Fantasy 14, right? So I think we've got some things to look
Yes, that
forward
would
to.
be Oh, when would that be?
We would have what, the Fan Fest this coming. It's all weird now
N-
with COVID and how
yeah,
everything's shifted.
I think the
So
FanFest would be next year spring, maybe summer
yes, yeah, you're right, because
would
it always
be.
comes right before, like, or around the 0.5 patch. So
6.3 should be December, January. 6.4 would be May,
something.
May,
Yeah.
June. 6.5 would be October, November. So expansion, we might get an expansion shortly after 7 remake
Yeah, that sounds about right.
or rebirth. Yeah, 7 rebirth. I gotta remember to think about it's a
I
different
know.
name now.
Yeah.
Um, anything from the rebirth trailer that really popped out to you that really said, "Oh my god, I gotta have this," other than
I mean,
remake.
obviously walking with Sephiroth is cool. That is obviously the calm flashback. But part of me still hopes. I don't know, because they're obviously saying stuff like, you can hear, I think it's Aerith talking
Yes.
about how the past is set in stone but the future hasn't been written yet or something, and so like what's going to happen, and Cloud's talking about what Sephiroth's end game is, and how all this stuff, and even talking about how, like, I think it's Cloud talking to Aerith, and Aerith is like, am I like a phantom? Like, was I supposed to die or something like that? Like, there's some weird stuff that's gonna happen. So like,
Maybe she
I kind of
lives. Maybe she
I
doesn't
kind of
get
hope
stabbed.
that something. I don't know if I'm down with Aerith living, but I am also down with some alternate things happening. I don't know if I want Sephiroth as a party member, but like I think some other characters could be cool as party members. I don't know, Zack or something, or like
Uh,
a character like Rude or even Reno or something. Like maybe they come to our side and help us. I don't know how much I want that craziness to happen, but I do want some craziness to happen, because I think that they've been setting up that this isn't just going to be a one for one, obviously, retelling of Final Fantasy VII. They made
well,
that pretty
yeah,
clear.
yeah. This is for those that don't know. This is a sequel. This is
Mhm.
not just a remake or retelling. This is Final Fantasy VII happened, and Advent Children happened, and this is what happened after Advent Children. Because if you don't know, the Sephiroth that is walking around taunting us is not Sephiroth. It's Advent Children Sephiroth with the black
Mhm.
wings and the black feathers and all that fun stuff. So, sorry if I spoiled it.
Yeah.
Play the
Whoops.
game. Play
Yeah.
the game. It's been out for 2 years. Come on. Um, yeah, I'm super stoked for this. This is gonna be awesome. My one issue is how are they gonna set us up to start the game? And until we get information, I can only speculate that basically you're gonna set us down to level 1 with no materia. How they do that? Maybe Yuffie steals it all like she did in the original game, and we start
Mhm.
down to, and that's how we start at level 0. I don't know. But they've really, I think they've said before that they're trying to make that so if you jump into Rebirth, um, basically you don't have to play remake to do Rebirth.
Mhm.
And I don't think there's going to be any save file transference, which is unfortunate because I maxed everything. I platted it. I got my save file still. I didn't delete it. I would love to transfer my save and have beefy characters, but I think that would just be too hard to balance
Mhm.
from that standpoint first. Um, anything else from the trailer or how the game goes that you want to
I mean,
touch on?
I I wish they would do something like a save file transfer, even if it's just little tiny things that they bring over, even if it's just like little
Mm.
relationship choices that you make with like Tifa or Aerith or whatever,
Or
or
even a
maybe
cosmetic for crying out loud.
or a cosmetic, or maybe you get to keep a couple like level 1 materias or something, if like they just give you like a little, oh, you played the other game, here's some free stuff to start you out with or something. I don't know. But overall, I'm super duper hype. I loved the 7 remake.
Mm-hmm.
It's easily like a 9.5 out of 10 for me. I know a lot of people weren't hype jiving with the story, and it is a little weird, and
because people,
Tetsuya
yeah,
Nomura-esque, right?
yeah,
It's very,
yeah,
you can see his fingerprints all over it.
yeah. You need a little bit of string board to kind of stop things up, and it takes kind of a repeat playing, doing the hard mode and really paying attention with what you know from the future to bring back and play it again, in my opinion. But I think a lot of these people are just disappointed because it's not 7
Yeah.
straight remade. It is its own story. It is a sequel. It is not just Final Fantasy VII in a fancy skin.
Yeah. And I do understand that. I understand where people are coming from being upset because it was obviously marketed as a remake. And in some ways it is, because you are going through the same story beats, but they are trying to tell a story that's supposed to come after Advent Children and all that stuff. So I do like where they're going. I'm personally someone who would rather see new story than just the same story retold a second time. So I am really excited to see where they go with this. And yeah, I am super duper hype, like really, really excited. So
last little piece though, they also told us that this is officially a trilogy. So this is going to be our second piece, and then 7 years from then, we'll have the last one, right? Like in 2031.
Yeah, probably.
I'll be super old and can't hold my controller anymore, and it'll be the PS6, Unreal Engine 7, something of that nature. But they didn't reveal the title of that last one. So as some funsies, I kind of wanted to go over with you and see what you thought the last title could be. We got remake for the first one, Rebirth for the second. Piers, what do you think the third one could be?
I don't know. Revive is a word, but like
Ooh.
revive and rebirth are also kind of the same thing. Like, because you're being rebirthed or revived.
Well, revive means to die and then come back, though. So
it could be it. It could be revive.
Revive is good. I didn't think of that. That's good. Anything else?
I'm more interested in what you got personally.
Well, I got some of this from my chat as well during one of my streams. So we got Reborn. So they kind of stealing that from Final Fantasy 14, but that could kind of fit in. I think it might be a little too close to Rebirth, Reborn, but it would kind of fit with, because not only was I thinking about I was also thinking about, the creation aspect, remake, rebirth. It's all kind of created. So we also thought about restart. Kind of off the mark. Remade, I felt was too close to remake. Reset.
Ooh, reset would
like
be
kind of
interesting.
reset the timeline. That I figured would be cool. There was also reversed, like everything that they did got reversed.
Reverse, yeah, that would be cool.
And then as Funzy, and credit to this actually goes to Maximilian, dude, or Revengeance.
Of course, dude. They would never call it Revengeance, but if they did, I'd die.
Oh god, that would be worth the laugh. Even as a April Fool's joke, hey, April 1st, we're releasing the last title, Final Fantasy VII Revengeance.
Yeah. Revenge is also interesting, though. I mean, depending on where they go with the story, who knows?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's all I got for my list. Some of those are pretty good. My favorite, though, Reborn and Reversed were my favorite two on that. Revive, actually, I think could fit really well. It being the end, dying, coming back, especially with that part of the story. Cloud is kind of lost to us. Maybe he's the one that dies and they bring him back. Ooh.
Could be, yeah.
Oh, instead of Aerith dying, or Aerith dies and she's revived. Oh, maybe. Oh, snap. Anyways, that is it for main topic number 3. We want to hear from you all now. Drop a comment down below and tell us what you think. Let us know what you think about the event as a whole. Let us know your thoughts on the last title and any of the titles you're excited for or what you're disappointed about. We'd love to hear from you. That is about it for our show today. Piers, why don't you tell us where people can find you?
Well, if you look down underneath my wonderful portrait, you'll see that I am on Twitch, radio_Piers. I do stream there every once in a while. I still haven't gotten back into it, but I do promise you it's something I'm interested in getting back into, and I have a whole trove of games my backlog that I want to play through. So it would be great to play through with you guys. So if you see me streaming anything, come by, say hi. And of course, I am on Final Fantasy 14, Piers Harvey on the Leviathan server of Primal. And so if you see me online, or if you want to ask me any questions, you want to run anything, you want to hang out, anything like that, just hit me up. I'm usually pretty bored unless I'm doing ultimates or anything like that. So just feel free to say hi. I want to hear from you guys. So, but what about you, Tark? Where can they find you?
Oh, it's pretty simple. Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all at Tarkoth Gaming, playing Final Fantasy 14 5 days a week. And you can also find me on Ready Check Raideo Saturday and Sunday nights. Currently playing Jedi Fallen Order on Dathomir right now, like deep into Dathomir. So I actually did the Bat Boss. So that was actually a lot of fun. That was a good boss.
I was watching you.
Yeah.
Did you end up beating it, or?
Yeah.
You did end up beating it. That's right. I remember that, and you stopped shortly after. Yeah, I was getting sleepy watching you. But yeah. I made sure to come by because
those streams are pretty late night.
Yeah.
But we'll be getting back into that this weekend. Definitely check me out over on YouTube. I'm dropping stuff all the time now, so really getting into this content creation. So hope you join me for that. Other than that, I think that's about it. We will see you guys next week. I think we're going to aim for 2:00 now.
2 is fine. Yeah.
2:00 Pacific on Fridays for new episodes of Hydaelyn's Heroes. But until next time, y'all take care of yourselves. Stay safe and end of line.
See you later.